If you've never seen a buffalo stampede at sunrise, well, just picture your worst Monday morning multiplied by 1,000 pounds of pure muscle and attitude. That's pretty much how it all kicked off. Diesel the buffalo. My pride and headache was munching his cud right by the fence when I saw the first safari bus rolling up my driveway like I was some off-brand Serengeti. I'm not kidding. I was standing there in my threadbare bathrobe, coffee already half spilled down my front, when this bright yellow open-air bus full of tourists came bouncing through the dust. All of them pressed up against the sides with iPads, binoculars, the works, and at the gate, there she was, Karen Aoi, queen of the HOA, looking like she'd just stepped out of a theme park, waving a clipboard and wearing a hat that would make Steve Irwin jealous. And here we have the majestic American bison in his natural habitat, Karen crowed, gesturing at Diesel like she'd discovered him herself. Only the natural habitat was my ranch, and the only thing majestic about Diesel at that moment was how close he was to turning her minivan into an accordion. I yelled for her to stop, no use. The latch clicked, the gate swung wide, and Diesel, bless his stubborn heart, went from statue to freight train in about half a second. The tourists squealed, thinking it was all part of the show. One lady even asked if Diesel did tricks. I'll tell you what trick he did. He led the charge right through a cloud of confused retirees, with me sprinting after him, bathrobe flapping, coffee, forgotten hollering to Bella to hit the siren and praying no one had parked in the wrong spot. Now you'd think chaos like that would make people stop and reconsider, but no, these folks were snapping photos, taking videos, egging each other on. The herd started lining up behind Diesel like they were waiting for Black Friday at Best Buy. I jumped on the ATV, cut across the pasture, and by then Diesel and his posse had surrounded the first bus, sniffing tires and tapping horns against the windows like toddlers testing the world's most expensive playpen. Karen was trying to regain control, waving her clipboard in circles, yelling, "Orders, orders, stay calm." This is normal, but the only thing normal was how quickly things went south. The best part, Vice President Doug, Karen's yes man, was standing down the road, phone out, filming the whole mess, half horrified, half ready to sell it as a viral moment. You know how these stories go. By nightfall, I knew the neighborhood would be buzzing with rumors how the crazy rancher let his wild animals loose on the precious HOA community, how it was all my fault. Never mind that my family's been here generations before any of these people even knew how to spell homeowners association. And never mind the fact that every buffalo on my land is tagged, monitored, and cared for better than most people's golden retrievers. That's just how the HOA game gets played. Spin it until you're the villain. Bella showed up beside me just as Diesel blocked the exit of a bus stuck in a ditch, tourists plastered to the windows. One woman was waving around a brochure. On the back was my ranch's property line, ripped straight from public records, rebranded Prairie Majesty Experience. Karen had literally created an illegal tour company right under everyone's nose and thought nobody would notice. Bella was furious. I mean, really the kind of mad where she stops blinking and starts plotting. She flashed the flyer at me, and I just shook my head, because half my herd was now strolling down the HOA's beloved walking trail, and Diesel, our so-called majestic ringleader, was busy denting the side of a tour bus with his nose. Of course, the moment Diesel started heading toward the community playground, honest, he just wanted hay, but it looked bad. Karen shrieked. "He's going for the children. There wasn't a kid within 100 yards, but good luck." Convincing a crowd with cell phones that what they think they're seeing isn't a Disney villain in the making. I finally steered Diesel away, tossing feed and whistling like a madman, all the while knowing that I was fighting two battles, the real one with animals and the social media one where perception beats reality every time. By evening, the HOA Facebook group was blowing up photos, videos, a live stream by Karen herself, with comments flying like popcorn at a bad movie premiere. "What is this chaos?" Refund now even a slow-motion replay of Diesel snorting, captioned Karen's new hairdryer. Sitting on the porch with Bella later that night, boots kicked up, dog curled between us, I asked how long before they tried to pin this whole circus on us. She just scrolled through her phone and said they already are. Doug just posted about wildlife containment failures during community festivities. It was almost funny, except I knew what was coming next: blame paperwork, and maybe if I was lucky, a formal complaint to the county. But this time Karen had gone too far. She trespassed, broke the lock, brought paying customers onto private land, and live-streamed the disaster. I decided right then we weren't just going to fight back, we were going to win. And not by playing her game, but by flipping the board. By the next morning, the HOA had their own version of yellow caution tape all over the entry. Cheap security guards milling around, asking if anyone had seen loose cattle, which almost made me laugh out loud. Buffalo aren't cattle, and mine weren't loose anymore. If anything, it was Karen's fantasy of HOA control that was stampeding out of her grasp. While feeding the ostriches, Bella came out with her laptop, and Coffee didn't say a word. Just turned the screen so I could see an email from the HOA board urgent requesting a meeting about uncontained animal disruption caused by unclear boundary markings. I told her I wasn't meeting them anywhere but here on my land, and they'd have to sign a waiver and bring real coffee, not whatever sludge passes for brew in the clubhouse. 3 hours later, here they come, Doug Sherrill, the treasurer, and Barry, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, clutching his clipboard like a lifeline. They didn't even want to step past the gate until I promised the buffalo were far away, though Diesel was about 10 feet away watching them with that come-at-me look. Doug started reading from a script about collaborative resolution and restoring community confidence. I cut him off. Was he here to admit Karen broke in? He stammered, dodged, mumbled about pending investigations. Cheryl tried sugarcoating, offering to rebrand the whole mess as a joint event, maybe even throw in an HOA apology if I'd keep quiet. I laughed so hard Bella nearly choked. Nobody got hurt. Property damage was minimal, yet here they were offering me a potluck in exchange for my silence while Karen had lied, forged, and hosted illegal tours. Barry finally piped up if I didn't constructively reconcile, they'd file a county complaint about aggressive livestock. That's when I smiled and asked if he'd like to see a video. I pulled up the security footage, Karen bolt cutters in hand, gate wide open, welcoming her guests. Doug turned green. Cheryl whispered, "Oh my God," Barry went sheet white. I told them the footage was already with the sheriff and county, and just for fun mentioned a national news outlet had requested an interview. That ended the meeting. As they left, Diesel sauntered up, blocking their path until Cheryl squealed and Barry nearly lost his clipboard. The next couple of days were a fever dream. Social media tore Karen apart, her safari hat edited into a crown, slow-motion shots of Diesel meme after meme. Local news ran with the story, and suddenly I was getting calls from other ranchers, even the mayor's office, all wanting to support conservation or just gawk at the buffalo chaos. But Karen wasn't done. She went radio silent, but Bella swore she was plotting, so we doubled our cameras, reinforced the gates, and started a legal file thicker than my grandma's Sunday roast. Then right on cue, Karen went for the bureaucracy, announcing a new HOA safety resolution to review all animal businesses within a mile of their property. She wasn't subtle. The subtext was shut down my ranch. She even brought a wildlife expert who I swear claimed buffalo attack when they smell fear. It was ridiculous, but it scared just enough people to call for a vote. That backfired spectacularly. Instead of a quiet ambush, the meeting turned into a town hall revolt. People, some who'd never spoken up, stood and told stories how their kids loved watching the herd, how the art teacher used my animals for class projects, how one woman's autistic son found peace visiting the fence line. Then Bella projected Karen's flyer next to the HOA complaint she filed that morning, same name, same signature. The room shifted, you could feel it. The vote wasn't even close. Karen's resolution failed. She froze at the mic and the crowd left in quiet disgust. Doug, the vice president, slipped me a folder afterward. Emails, financial records, proof. Karen had planned to turn the whole HOA into her own safari business, pocketing the proceeds. "I'm tired of being scared of her," he whispered. Yeah, that happened. The storm didn't end with applause. It came in the form of a lawsuit. Karen, clinging to power, sued us for emotional distress. Our lawyer grinned and said, "Let her." Days later, the county's investigation dropped like a hammer. Karen wasn't just wrong, she was guilty of trespassing, misusing HOA funds, forging documents, the whole 9 yards. The community rose up, yard signs reading, "Not in our name," and "Disband." The HOA now popped up everywhere. A special vote removed Karen with a landslide. She packed her things and left silent for once. We countersued, not out of spite, but because we had to draw a line. The court sided with us, dismissed her suit, ordered her to pay legal fees, and the new HOA board even apologized. That weekend we hosted an open ranch day, just a celebration. No tours, no drama. People came, kids laughed. Someone brought a Karen piñata. Diesel, king of the pasture, just watched with quiet approval. After everything, I stood at that new gate, reinforced chain camera, the sign reading "Protected by Nature and Neighbors," and realized Karen opened a gate thinking she was claiming power. All she really did was set the truth loose, and it ran wild, impossible to cage again. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between protecting what matters and letting someone like Karen rewrite the rules? Share your thoughts below. Does justice look like standing your ground or letting chaos pass by? I know where I stand.